Hey guys, I'm Grubby and I'm sitting here with LucifroN, who is a legend across different RTS titles and even a MOBA title. He's already competed and been successful at 4 different games, and looking forward to asking him some questions, not in particular just about this tournament here at N4C, but a couple of other things. What's up, LucifroN?
Hey, how you doing?
I wanted to ask the first thing, when did you start playing games in your life and what role does it have for you?
So games in general, I think I was very young, like maybe 3 years old or something. I think we got like the Sega Saturn, and I was playing with like my parent, well, mostly my father and my older brother. So like ever since I can recall, I was already like playing games every now and then. And then more competitively, I guess around the age of 15, I started competing in Warcraft 3 in like a national level. And then at 16, by the time like I was in my last high school years, when I started to compete internationally.
And when you had the chance to compete internationally and you realized you were good, was there ever the idea that while doing this, you wanted to keep a plan B? How important was it for you to have, like, let's say, an alternative job or studies plan lined up, or did you see yourself staying in this?
So, like, I kind of got into programming by chance, so to speak, in the sense that I just played the game because I really enjoyed it and wanted to get better and better. And eventually, like, there was this tournament organized by Blizzard that you could qualify by placing high on the ladder. And I remember that the tournament was in Madrid, so I thought everything was lining like perfectly for me. So I just played a lot in order to compete there. But yeah, like back then I wasn't too sure if I could make a living out of it, like for, let's say, all of my life. So yeah, I wanted to have like a plan B. Like back then I was in high school still, so as long as it was kind of easy, I guess. Like it wasn't that much time consuming. But yeah, I always thought that I wanted to keep a plan B, so that's why I went into university and I always like competed like in games. But as I studied, like I had to combine both things, like the best that I could. Like maybe some year I would focus a bit more on gaming and be a little slower in college, and the other way around. But yeah, I always had like this plan B. And in fact, I worked like a few years as a software engineer. So I've been doing that for pretty much all my programming career.
Was that difficult for you, splitting your time, maybe your desire or what you think is prudent for the future between these, let's say, 3 different things: university, software engineer, gaming?
Yeah, definitely. Like especially like there were like, well, as a programmer, I have some periods where I'm like really like motivated to play and I want to perform super well. So you have all these tournaments, but at the same time, like I remember one specific time that I had a huge tournament, and the week after I had like my final exam. So I had like, how do I go about this? Like sometimes I would just say, okay, I'm going to focus in like the tournament, and then like good luck in the exams. I try my best.
How did that go?
Sometimes like, so what I did sometimes is like I tried to guess like what would I get examined about, like what questions they would choose in the exam. So I would like sack like half of the summary and
Target practice for the exam.
Exactly, like do not study like half of the lectures and just wish that I got the important stuff right and I could pass. And sometimes that worked, sometimes it didn't.
Did you have regrets if it didn't work after making that decision and saying, right now the tournament is more important for me?
No, I usually like never regretted it. Like when there was a big tournament, and I know like in my mind I was it didn't really matter whether it took like 4 years or 7 years for me to finish my degree, because like I was working as a pro gamer on the other side. So like most people that work and study usually take longer. So I didn't have that pressure. Like as long as I kept advancing and so on, I didn't feel the pressure. For the most part, I gave more importance to like my programming career and not so much the studies. The studies were something like, okay, before I'm 30, I want to have this finished, so to speak. And yeah, so yeah, no, I don't regret it, not really.
Was it difficult for you to focus on something like programming? I mean, for most of your formative years and for most of your childhood, you not with like a goal in mind, but you were gaming to some degree, and you sometimes probably practiced very hard, very long hours, and it was fun. So you went towards it. Suddenly, programming, you've got a dusty old book. Was it difficult to focus on that while it doesn't offer maybe the same adrenaline as a competition?
Yeah. sometimes like I guess it for me depended a bit on the lectures. Like there were some lectures in like, well, I studied like software engineer, so some lectures were just in a way not so different from gaming in the sense that you had like this list of 300 problems that. And you were like, and there was like even a ranking. So the one who did the better was in like the top of the ladder. So for me, sometimes it was like, okay, let's see if I can get like the very hard exercises done, and I can like climb the ladder. And
you gamified everything else.
Yeah, like to some extent that is really true. And also I feel that gaming helped me like get good at other things. Like because back when I started in pro gaming, like you don't have this like, okay, in order to get better at this game, you have to do like this. You had to like. Find out by yourself, like scout like what the people that were already good were doing, learn from them a lot. So I think that like transcended to other points of my life where if I want to get good at something, like I know what I have to do. Like, okay, first of all, look what the already good people do. Like not only what they say, but also what they did in order to get good. And you can like, I feel that the process in getting good at things, it's not that different from gaming to any other aspect in life. Like copy the people who are good, learn from them, try to understand what they did and why they did it. And at some point, I feel like it, in a lot of ways, it helped me.
Awesome. Age of Empires 4, you're playing it now. It's been out for about 5 months, and it was known that it was coming for longer than that. I'm actually not exactly quite sure how long. Since when was it on your radar that maybe you thought it'd be cool to try it out?
Yeah, so this summer, well, last summer, I guess, summer 2021, I already knew that the game was coming in like a month or two, so I started to play a bit like Age of Empires 2, because I hadn't really played any Age of Empires game besides a few games when I was like maybe 10 or something. So I was completely new to the saga. My younger brother had been playing for a while already, like he was maybe top 100 or
H2,
something.
yeah?
Yeah, he was like maybe top 100 and H2 on the ladder or something like that. So he explained me the basics and so on. And I just thought, okay, let's play a bit the game. Then when the Age of Empires 4 beta comes out, try to get inside. And then if I enjoy the game and I think I can compete, then maybe try again after a long while without really competing.
Did that, and this is what ended up happening, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Did that change anything? Well, in what degree did it change the dynamic of your day-to-day life?
Yeah, pretty much. Like back then, I was like working full time, like as a software engineer. So I didn't have. In fact, I wasn't really playing games at all, to be honest. Like I like for at least a solid year or something, I barely played any games. Like maybe a couple hours a week or something like that, which was like the first time in my entire life that happened. Because as a kid and so on, I was always playing. But I don't know. As I grew up, I kind of lost interest in like single player games and so on. So once I stopped competing, I didn't really enjoy it that much. And on the other hand, like for me at least as a competitive player, when I play a multiplayer game and I get frustrated if I lose, so I want to spend like a lot of time in it and getting better. So when I don't have that time, I felt that, okay, let's just not play StarCraft right now, because if I start to play it, I will want to get better, and I know I will start like playing a lot, and I was focusing in other aspects of life at that moment, so I thought, okay, let's stop. But at the same time, I missed it. So when Age of Empires was announced, I thought, okay, maybe if I can pick this one from the beginning, and it's easier for me. And
so when you started playing the Age of Empires 4 beta for the first time, did you immediately like it?
Yeah, like to be honest, like I was hooked with the game. Like, well, actually, like the first 2 or 3 games, I wasn't sure, but I told myself, okay, let's try for a while longer. And as I played like 15, 20 games, I was like completely hooked with the game. Like I was like enjoying it a lot, like playing a lot with my brother. In fact, like I think I was one of the players who played the most in the closed beta, and finished it like first in the ranking. So yeah, I was having a blast. And also, this was like, I think after the second week, or the first week of the beta or something like that, like my summer holidays started from like my regular job.
Perfect.
So everything was lining up. So yeah,
dude, it's destiny.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it was really fun.
So Age of Empires 4 wasn't really on my radar, and when I knew it was coming out, and I thought it might be cool to check it out, but I didn't expect it would captivate me. The game would captivate me in the same way. And then when I started checking out the ranked beta leaderboards, which I hadn't played myself, I saw you and your brother on rank 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Awesome. I was like, hey, I know those guys. We've known each other for a long time and competed against each other. Awesome to see you here. Your plans after N4C, because we're in the middle of a tournament now. I'm not exactly sure when they're showing this interview. What are your plans afterwards?
So I'm definitely going to keep playing Age of Empires 4 competitively. There are like a few tournaments announced that at least I think until summer probably. So I'm going to focus on that. And then I'm not really sure. Like I have a lot of faith in the game. I think the game has a lot of potential to like be a great esports success. Like the game is super fun. Like most of the things that had to be fixed, I feel like already have been fixed. So like I think the game is in a good spot, and the roadmap that has been announced is really promising. So I'm like right now I'm really feeling like Age of Empires 4, like playing at least a few months, and then in summer I guess I will reevaluate like everything. It's hard to tell from
It's hard
right
to
now.
plan
Yeah.
far in advance, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
like
And Destiny hasn't led you astray so far.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, play the game for like 3-4 months more, and then reevaluate. Like I also want to see how I'm doing. Especially like when the game gets more developed, I want to see like how I keep up with the other players, because like in my RTS career, one thing I enjoy most about RTS is when like the action is for the most part focused in like one place. Like for instance, Warcraft 3 is a game where you get like most of the time the action is like one place at the same time, which is not that common for RTS, I guess. So in StarCraft 2, I felt that I was already like having a hard time competing against the absolute top players, whereas in Warcraft 3, I felt that I could beat anyone in a good day. And then in Age of Empires, and then in Age of Empires 4, I feel like it goes a bit deeper into my weaknesses. So I kind of want to see how I do like after a few months, and then like just reevaluate everything.
Okay. One final question. You're here in N4C, and well, we don't know exactly when this is going to show, but they can cut it off if it's not relevant. You have one final qualifying match. If you beat Linak, you qualify, and if not, your thoughts on it?
I approach it as if it was like a regular tournament, like in a regular bracket. Usually you win, you pass, you lose, you're out. Yeah. So I'm going with that mindset that if I wanted to do well in this tournament, of course, like I have to beat players. Like I cannot go 1-4 and then be like, oh well.
Hope to straddle in because there's no meaning to it.
Yeah. In general, I don't want to go in a tournament with the mentality of maybe I can sneak my way in the top 6. I would rather be the guy that goes 5-0. Yeah. So if I'm at this point, I just want I'm completely focused in the match. Also, I'm playing last, so I will know, because I think there are some scenarios if both Marine, Laura, and the Muslim lose, I think I'm out regardless. So I'm playing last, so I will know that by the end of the day. But regardless, I want to win. Like even if I know I'm already out, I still prefer going out 2-3 than 1-4. So I just give my best, and I think I can beat Linok. Like I've played him a few times in ladder and so on, and I think I can do it.
Sounds very reasonable. Thanks for all your answers. Super interesting to hear about your life and your career in Age of Empires 4. Good luck in the tourney.
Thank you very much.
See you next time.